The sheet comes off the press in Fort Worth still warm. 32 of you to a page, and a blade you never see cuts you free at 6:11 on a Tuesday morning. You are $100. Series 2017. Serial number MB07431129F. Though nobody will ever read it out loud, and nobody will ever tell you apart from the next bill in the strap, and that is the first true thing about you. You are worth exactly what every other 100 is worth, and you are worth nothing at all until a hand decides to let you go. A woman named Carol in a blue smock counts you into a brick of 4,000 and does not look at your face. You are banded, shrink-wrapped, boxed, and trucked to a Federal Reserve branch outside Cleveland, where you lie in the dark for 9 weeks with 200 million of your own kind. Then an armored van. Then a cash cassette inside an ATM bolted to the wall of a gas station on Monroe Street in Toledo, Ohio. Then, at 7:42 on a cold morning, a thumb pulls you into the light. This is your life through every hand that will ever hold you, from the bottom of the ladder to the very top of it. 6 hands. 1 bill. You start here. Hand 1, the tip. The thumb belongs to Rosa Delgado. She is 44, and she has just paid an $11 fee to withdraw $200 from an account the bank charges her to keep open. She folds you into the front pocket of an apron that smells like coffee and fryer grease, and for the next 9 hours you ride against her hip while she works the breakfast and lunch rush at a diner called the Blue Moon on Front Street. She does not spend you, she carries you. That matters more than it sounds. Rent is $940, and it is due today. She has counted the money 3 times, at the counter, in the car, at the red light on Cherry Street, because the number keeps not being enough, and then barely being enough. You are the difference. You are the bill that turns 840 into 940. Without you, her son Mateo, who is 9 and has a kind of asthma that gets worse in December, sleeps somewhere else this month. With you, he does not. You are not a number to Rosa. You are a door that stays where it is. There is a regular at the Blue Moon, an old man named Walt, who orders 2 eggs over medium and rye every morning and leaves the same tired single dollar under the same coffee mug, and Rosa treats his dollar and a contractor table's 40 with the same care. Because when you live this close to the number, every dollar is the same size, and the size is everything. She has worked this floor 11 years. Her feet are a problem she does not have the insurance to name out loud. Mateo draws her pictures of the diner from memory, with her standing in the middle of it, and she keeps them folded in the same apron pocket where she keeps you, so that for 9 hours tonight you ride against a boy's crayon drawing of the woman carrying you both. At 6:15 she drives to a duplex on Vinton Street and knocks and hands the whole fold of bills to a man in a Carhartt jacket. You pass from her hand to his in the cold, and for 1 second 2 people are touching the same piece of paper, one of them letting go of something she needed, and one of them taking it without thinking about her at all. That is the whole transaction of the world, and you are the thing in the middle of it. You are the last bill counted. Rosa watches you go the way you watch something you cannot afford to lose. Then the door closes, and you are already someone else's. You will be spent 1,000 times before you are finished. You will never again be spent by anyone who needs you the way she did. Hand 2, the ledger. The man in the Carhartt jacket is Gerald Pruitt. He is 61. He owns 4 duplexes on the near south side, all of them older than he is, and a truck with 190,000 miles on it, and a belief, learned from his father, that a man writes down every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out in a spiral notebook with a rubber band around it. He drives home and he opens the notebook at the kitchen table and he enters you as a line. Vinton, Delgado, 940, paid, cash. You have become a line in a ledger. Nobody has spent you in a way that felt like anything, and nobody will for a long time. Gerald is not rich. He is the kind of not rich that owns things and still cannot sleep. The furnace at the Vinton house is 30 years old, and the tenant on Fassett Street is 2 months behind, and his wife Brenda takes a pill for her blood pressure that costs more than it did last year. And every one of these facts lives in the notebook, too. The tenant on Fassett Street is a young mother named Kayla, and Gerald has not started the eviction, because he started one once, in 2009, and a family he knew by their first names put their beds out on the curb in the rain, and he decided he would rather lose the money than watch that a second time, a decision he does not write in the notebook because there is no column for it. He is a landlord the way most small landlords actually are, which is a man 1 dead furnace away from being a tenant himself. You sit in a coffee can on top of the refrigerator with 2,000 other dollars for 11 days. This is the closest thing to peace you will ever know. Nobody is counting you. You are simply saved. Then the furnace on Vinton dies in January with a family inside, and Gerald pays a contractor named Petey $4,000 in cash, because Petey does it $400 cheaper in cash, and you are counted out of the can and into a white envelope. You have paid, in your short life, for a roof and for the heat under it. You do not know yet that this is the most useful you will ever be, and that from here the ladder only goes up, and that the higher you climb, the less you will ever do. Petey deposits the envelope at a credit union on Airport Highway. A teller named Shonda counts you, bans you, and by Friday you are in an armored van again, headed back into the dark. Cash flows downhill toward the people who need it, toward the diners and the coffee cans and the men who fix furnaces cheaper on the side. You are about to do the rare thing. You are about to climb. Hand 3, the commission. You surface 1,100 miles away in a cash cassette in a private lounge of a club called Escobar in Scottsdale, Arizona, at 11:40 on a Saturday night, and the hand that pulls you now belongs to Brett Hollis. Brett is 29. He sells pre-owned exotics off a lot on Camelback, and this month he closed a used Lamborghini to a dentist and cleared a commission of $9,000. And he has decided, the way he decides most things, that the correct response to $9,000 is to be seen spending it. You are part of a stack of 40 bills he peels for a bottle of Clase Azul that costs him, with the tip and the table minimum, $680. He does not count you, he fans you. There is a difference, and you learn it tonight. Rosa counted you because every one of you was load-bearing. Brett fans you because he needs the 4 girls at the table and the 2 men he went to high school with to see that the counting no longer applies. You buy him a thing that Rosa could not buy with a year of tips. You buy him 90 minutes of being looked at. He posts the bottle to a story with a sparkler stabbed in the neck of it, and 41 people watch, and none of them are at the table, which is the arithmetic Brett runs without knowing he runs it. The 90 minutes are not for the room. The room is a prop. The 90 minutes are for the phone. His father sold used Buicks in Mesa for 30 years, and told him once, not unkindly, that the whole trick of the lot was making a man want the version of himself the car implied. Brett learned it too well. He sells other men the implication for a living, and on Saturdays he buys his own, in bottles, 40 bills at a time, from a stack that was somebody's rent a month ago and 1,000 miles away. By 1 o'clock he cannot tell you from the drink. Neither can anyone. You have become, for the first time, decoration. The tequila is gone by 2 o'clock, and the 90 minutes are gone by Monday, and Brett has a lease payment on his own G-Wagon, due on the 3rd, that he is $400 short on, which is a fact he keeps in a place he does not look at, the same place Gerald keeps the notebook, except Gerald looks at the notebook every night, and Brett has trained himself never to. The bartender pools the night's cash, and a manager named Vince skims a favor off the top, and by the following weekend you are handed across a felt table at a house game in Paradise Valley, a buy-in of $5,000, into a hand that does not fan and does not count either, because to this hand you are already too small to bother. Hand 4. The Retainer. The hand belongs to a man named Alan Reisman. He is 55, and he is a defense attorney of the kind that does not have a sign, and he wins you at the table without noticing, the way he wins most things, and you go into a money clip of matte titanium that has never in its life held a bill smaller than you. And then, for 410 days, nothing happens to you at all. This is the part of the ladder no one describes. You are not spent. You are held. Alan does not use cash. Cash is for tips, and for valets, and for the theater of the poker table. His life runs on wires and cards and numbers that move without ever becoming paper. So you sit. First in the clip, then in a drawer in a home office in Silverleaf with a view of the McDowell Mountains then, when a client pays a retainer of $25,000 in cash for reasons that are the client's business, you are counted into that brick and moved to a safe behind a Rothko print that is worth more than every dollar Rosa will earn in her life. Twice in the 400 days, a hand almost spends you. Once Alan reaches into the clip at a steakhouse valet stand and then remembers he has an app for that. Once his son, home from Michigan for a weekend, lifts the clip off the dresser and thumbs you loose and stands in the dark hallway holding a $100 bill and deciding, and then slides you back. Because the money in this house is not spent, it is inherited, and the boy already understands at 19 that touching it is a thing you get caught doing rather than a thing you get to do. You are counted quarterly now. A woman named Sandra who does Alan's books opens the safe every 3 months and runs you through a machine that riffles your kind at 1,000 a minute and never once looks at your face. This is the thing you understand in the dark behind the painting. There is a level of money at which being counted replaces being needed, completely, and the counting is not love, and it is not even attention. It is inventory. Rosa needed you. Gerald saved you. Brett performed you. Alan inventories you. Each of these men has more than the last, and each of them touches you less, and the man at the top of this story will never touch you at all. The client's matter closes well, the retainer is refunded, minus fees, and the refund does not go back into the world. It goes, by a courier in a gray car, up one more rung, to the last hand of your life that will ever be a hand. Hand 5, the vault. His name is on buildings. You will not learn it, because he will never say it, and neither will anyone near him, and that is the point of him. He is worth, on the morning you arrive, somewhere between $2 and $3 billion, a number so soft at the edges that 4 separate people are paid to argue about where exactly it ends. You are the smallest, roundest, most invisible unit of it. To Rosa, you are a month. To this man, you are not even a rounding error, because a rounding error still shows up somewhere. You do not show up anywhere. You are noise below the noise floor. You go into a safe inside a room inside a house in Paradise Valley that he sleeps in 19 nights a year. There is cash here the way there is grain in a silo, kept not to be spent, but to exist. A hoard against a fear that a man with $3 billion still keeps in the place Gerald keeps the notebook and Brett refuses to look. 200,000 in hundreds, banded, dated, rotated by a house manager named Cho, who has a spreadsheet and a firearm. You are a strap dated the 4th of a month. You are set on a steel shelf. And there you stop. You stop for 11 years. Cho counts the safe on the 1st of every month with the door locked from the inside. He has worked for the man 9 years and been alone in a room with him perhaps 4 times. The straps are dated so that the oldest cash rotates out to the bank before the paper begins to age, except that no one ever comes for the estate's paperwork on time. And so you are skipped in one rotation and then another, and the system built to keep you moving forgets you specifically, on a shelf, in the dark. Which is the one thing that was never supposed to happen to a thing whose only purpose is to move. You develop, over 11 years, a fold line so deep, it will one day read as age to the machine that finally reads you. You are aging inside a safe. Money is not supposed to be able to do that. Neither, it turns out, is the man who owns it, and upstairs, 19 nights a year, he is doing it too. Understand what stopping is. You are made to move. A bill is the one thing in the world whose entire meaning is the letting go, and you are put somewhere specifically so that no one ever has to. Outside the safe, the man's father dies, and he does not fly home in time. His daughter marries in Como, and he watches most of it from a phone. He is on the phone the way a condition is a condition. He is the richest lonely man in 3 counties, and he has built, out of steel and out of Cho and out of you, a fortress against the exact thing Rosa gave you away to protect. She let you go to keep a 9-year-old warm. He keeps you to keep nothing warm at all. You are worth the most to the person who has the most. At the precise moment, you are worth nothing to anyone. You have reached the top of the ladder. The top of the ladder is a dark shelf and a dated band and 11 years of not being needed by a man who needs nothing and is fixed by none of it. He dies at 78. The number gets divided. The house is sold, and Cho, on a last Tuesday, opens the safe and empties 11 years of stopped money into duffel bags for the estate. And you go, blinking, worn soft at the folds now, gray where you were green, back down into the machinery of the living. Hand 6, the furnace. You are deposited into a commercial bank in Phoenix as part of a settled estate, and a teller half your age runs you through a sorter, and the sorter feels how thin you have gone, how limp, how far past crisp, and it kicks you into the reject stacker with a small mechanical sound that is the closest thing to a verdict you will ever receive. Unfit. You are bundled with 10,000 other unfit bills, dated soft, softened by hands you will never remember, and trucked one final time to the Federal Reserve, to the same kind of dark room you began in the same kind of strap, closing the circle Carol started in Fort Worth a lifetime and 6 owners ago. Here they do not save you. Here a machine reads you, cancels the serial number MB07431129F out of the ledger of the living, and feeds you into a shredder that turns you into confetti the size of grain, mixed with a ton of your own kind, pressed into a brick, and sold to a company that makes it into insulation, or fire logs, or nothing. You end as warmth again, if you end as anything. You began by buying a boy his heat in December. You will finish, maybe, as the pink stuff inside somebody's wall. The bottom of the ladder and the far end of it turn out to be the same small human thing. A room that stays warm. The confetti of you weighs almost nothing. It takes roughly 450 bills to make a pound, and you go into the bin with thousands of your kind. And the total weight of one life of being carried and saved and fanned and inventoried and hoarded comes out. At the end, to a few ounces of dust a machine cannot tell from any other dust. The serial number MB07431129F drops out of the ledger of the living in the time it takes to read this sentence. No one marks it. No one at any point in your entire life ever knew you by it. You were, from the first strap to the last, exactly interchangeable, and you spent your whole existence proving that the only thing that was ever unique in any of it was the need in the hand that held you. In the last second before the blade, if a bill has a last second, you do the only accounting that ever mattered. And it is not the accounting Alan paid Sandra to keep, or the one Cho kept in his spreadsheet, or the soft-argued number 4 men defended for a dead man. It is Gerald's notebook, one line. What did you do, and for whom, and did they need it? Rosa needed you, and you were a roof. The richest hand that ever held you did not hold you at all, and needed nothing, and was warmed by none of it. And that, in the end, was the whole of the difference between the top of the ladder and the bottom. In Rosa's apron you lasted a minute, and you mattered for a month. On the steel shelf you lasted 11 years, and you mattered to no one. You bought a 9-year-old his December, and you bought a billionaire a fear he could hold. You climbed the entire ladder, first to last, bottom to top, and every rung up was a rung further from a hand that would ever miss you when you were gone.